Welcome back to Son of a Preacher Man. Soapman is in the house. In fact, miracles just seem to follow Moses wherever he goes, don't they? Everywhere Moses goes, miracles are occurring. Ladies and gentlemen, this is because Moses is the miracle. Let me say that again. Ladies and gentlemen, the miracle is Moses himself. And that's why miracles always happen around him. I'd like to talk to you about one of those miracles in particular, and that is the one where Moses brings water from a rock. Now, for context, I must tell you this occurs after the children of Israel reach Mount Sinai. Exodus chapter 14 verses 1 through 4 reads, "And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses, and said, Give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, Why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Lord? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses, and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt, to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And you see, I have here in big, bold, red lettering, it says, And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, What shall I do unto this people? They be almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river. Take in thine hand, and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb. And thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel." And so there you have it. Right there in plain black and white print. Moses struck the rock and water came out, just as God promised. And the slide I'm showing you right now is how we imagine that happened, of course. But as I've told you so many times before, mankind ain't exactly the brightest bulb in the box, are we? This is what we think happened. And this is where we think it occurred. Here it is, the split rock of Horeb. This is the rock that throughout history has been traditionally believed to be the rock that Moses struck to make water come forth out of it. And why do we believe that? Well, because it has a split in it, as you can see. This is the place that we think God magically produced water from a rock, because obviously this was done magically. The Bible is describing a miracle, and so miracles is just another word for magic. And so this slide is accurate according to our beliefs. This is what we think happened.
Just west of the mountain stands another possible link to the Exodus account. A towering rock, 60 feet high. It is split from top to bottom, and evidence of water erosion is etched into its base.
Listen to the Soapman. There is nothing special about this rock, other than it's big and it's split down the middle. And as far as water erosion at its base, that ain't nothing but rain. Only water been through this split rock is rainwater. You heard me? The Soapman tries to save you time, save you energy, save you from wondering and doubting. Let it be no doubt. Ain't no water came from this rock. From where? other than the sky. From where? Dried up riverbed. Where? Folks, if you believe this is the rock that the Bible talking about and that Moses struck, you're Lamont Sanford.
You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big cold-blooded dummy.
Remember when Moses spied the Egyptian abusing and mistreating his fellow Hebrew brethren? And Moses killed him. Yeah, Moses, he had gotten of age and he had seen and taken about all he could take from the Egyptians mistreating Hebrews. And one day he snapped and he kills this Egyptian who's beating or smiting this Hebrew slave. And of course he has to go on the run. Moses flees into the desert on the run from Pharaoh, who naturally wants his head. And so the Bible says that Moses dwells in the land of Midian. And it says that he does so for 40 years. Now let me tell you, these folks that dwell in the desert, they have all sorts of ways that they survive that wouldn't be known to folks who don't dwell in the desert. They have a useful technique for getting water because water is, of course, scarce in the desert. That's why it's called a desert. But you'd be surprised, being an urban city dweller, what miraculous things they do to conserve and get water. You'd also be surprised to learn that to a Bedouin shepherd living in the desert, water coming from a rock ain't that impressive. He's probably seen it before.
1917, the Egyptian desert. The British Army are locked in battle with the Ottoman forces. The Imperial Camel Corps is a key part of the fight. One of its officers keeps a diary of his adventures. The diary says the Camel Corps were digging for water. The sergeant then seized a pickaxe and smashed a rock. Out came a great gush of clear water. His men hailed him with shouts of, "What ho, the prophet Moses."
In the desert, you have desert storms where sand is blown around at high speed by the wind, and the sand abrades the surface of the rocks, and it forms a hard crust on the rock.
When the sergeant cracked the crust of the rock, the water flowed out.
So what Moses is doing, when he gives this rock a real hit with his staff, then he breaks the crust and the water comes flowing out. And this is an effect known to geologists. So this thing, which I first thought was an impossibility, the miracle has a really good scientific explanation.
I told you last episode that Mount Better was the real Mount Sinai. As you heard Sir Colin say, its surface is 6 miles wide. A mountain of water. And I have this slide up for you because this is not unknown. This is not magic. This is something that's known to geologists and many in the scientific community, as well as the students they teach. There are vast amounts of water underneath the Earth's crust. And some stones hold water, soak it up like a sponge. Some do better than others. Sandstone in particular seems to soak up water the best. But what I'm saying is, this is not new information. This is not magic. This is not some phenomenon that we're unfamiliar with. There is water under the earth, even around volcanoes. The characteristics of Mount Better being a volcano sitting atop a mountain of water, I do not think is unique to Mount Better. There are volcanoes underneath the water, in the oceans and in the seas. There are volcanoes, they erupt. Folks, what I'm trying to tell you is this is a whole scientific thing. This is something that the scientific community is familiar with and understands. It's a whole thing. I don't think you really want to get into the science and logistics of it. I don't think you that interested. But just know that there are places on Earth where water is contained in rocks. And there are many instances where people get water from rocks, probably even to this day. The Bedouin shepherds in ancient Midian, modern day Arabia, would have known how to get water from rocks. Folks, you go around the world, you will see a lot of strange stuff. Saudi Arabia in particular, they don't let many people into their country. They just opened it up to tourism, but it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. It looks like Eternia from He-Man. But that aside, folks, this is science. And when you educate yourself, you learn about the many wonders of the world, the many wonders of the environment we call Earth. What Moses showed the children of Israel was a miracle to them because they had never seen that before. But the Bedouin shepherds that Moses dwelled in the desert with, they probably showed that to him. I'm not taking anything away from Moses. He did a great thing. He found a paradise in Mount Sinai. And what the Bible is describing to you is him showing the people how to get water from the rocks. He's showing the people how to quench their thirst, how to get water themselves so they won't have to come to him every time they want to drink. Moses, ladies and gentlemen, is a very wise man. It's what's gotten him to this point so far. These miracles that Moses performed are the miracles that are he himself. The man is a genius. And this is the genius of Moses, once again on full display. Folks, I want to thank you for joining me for this installment of Son of a Preacher Man. If you're new to this channel or enjoy this type of content, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you have any compliments, comments, insults, or inquiries, please leave them in the comments section. If you have any topics you'd like me to discuss or questions you'd like me to answer, please leave them in the comments section. I'll see you next time, same soap channel, we out.